Alright, so this is my 2013 Polaris Sportsman 400. In this video I'm going to go over how to put RZR wheels on your Sportsman. It's a little more complicated than you think, especially if you get the RZR wheels that I got. I picked these up used. These are from a 2017 RZR 1000. So the lug nut or the wheel stud size was bigger than what the Sportsman is. So I'll go over, and the back spacing is different. So I'm just going to go over how you get these to fit. Alright, so this is the back wheel. In the back I'm running a 2-inch spacer. In the front I'm running a 1-inch spacer. That's because the back spacing on the RZR wheels were different than my Polaris Sportsman wheels. In order to get them even in the front so that the front wasn't sticking out farther than the back, I had to run 2 inches in the back and 1 inch in the front. I had to run a wheel spacer because the tires that I'm running are 1 inch taller, 1 inch wider, as well as there wasn't enough room to clear this rubber center cap here. Now on the RZR wheels, you could take this out and just pop out that center part and have the clearance that you need for that rubber center part, but it just doesn't look as nice. So that's why I decided to go this way. Now you can see I had to make some modifications to the wheel spacers in order to fit the RZR wheels. That's because the RZR that this came off of was I believe it was 1000, and so the heavier duty RZRs are going to have these 12mm wheel studs, as opposed to the Sportsman and the majority of your other Polaris, side by sides and ATVs are probably going to have this. I believe it's 3/4. You can see the size difference here. 12mm ones are a lot thicker, and that's what these wheels were intended for. So you could use the smaller ones if you really wanted to, but you're just going to have a lot of play in here. So what I opted to do was I bought these off of Amazon. So what I did was I went to Advanced Auto Parts and bought the 12mm wheel studs. I used a shop press. I pressed out these are the studs that came on it. Pressed these out, replaced them with these ones. Now I did have to drill these out a little bit with a drill bit in order to get these to clear properly. And then I pressed these new wheel studs in, so that way I had the wheel studs that were designed to fit with the RZR wheels. Alright, as far as the tool that I used to remove the old wheel studs and press in the new ones, this is what I used. This is a 12-ton shop press. I picked this up from Harbor Freight for, I think it was a little over $100. And there's many ways to press in new wheel studs, which is about the easiest way. Another thing to look for is be very careful of the wheel spacers that you get, because you can kind of see in here there's a little tab, and this is bulged here. So it's got to be made to fit the Sportsman, otherwise it's just not going to sit flat on here, and then you're going to have more problems. Alright, so this is the front. As you can see, it's 1-inch spacer here. I went through about 6 sets of wheel spacers in the front here, trying to get them to fit without breaking. Every time I would try the other ones to try and press it out or whatever, I'd get cracks and it would crack, or it was just a mess. Something else to look for. Some wheel spacers for Polaris, they'll say they'll fit Sportsman, but it'll be like a lip on the outside here, and then your wheel will not sit flat. Alright, so what I did to put these on after I got the new 12mm wheel studs pressed in, I put a little bit of blue Loctite on the threads and torqued down the lug nuts that it came with to 90 foot-pounds. I went through my Polaris Sportsman manual, and 90 foot-pounds is what was recommended for aluminum wheels, and these are aluminum wheel spacers. So those were torqued down to 90 with the Loctite. And then these wheel studs here, I just torqued these down to 90 as well, since this is also an aluminum wheel. Side note, I did get these wheels used, and I went through the process of sanding them down, taking out the road rash and imperfections, primed them, Got this wheel paint. It's a VHT brand from AutoZone. It matches the color of the stock ones. That was the original color that was on here pretty well. And then used the VHT wheel clear coat on top of those as well. And they turned out pretty nice. They look pretty much brand new. Alright, so you can see how my wheel fits flat against the wheel spacer. That's what you want. You don't want the wheel spacer with the lip on it, or you're not going to sit flat. Also, you want to make sure that the inside of this is milled properly so it doesn't sit on the tabs that are on the hub itself. So you want this wheel spacer to fit flat against your wheel hub as well when you torque it down, and then you'll be good. All right, and as you can see, even though we are running different thicknesses of wheel spacers between the front and the back, we are perfectly straight. All right, the back isn't sticking out farther than the front, vice versa. If I would have ran the same thickness, because of the back spacing of these wheels, either the front or the back would have been sticking out farther than the other. With the wheel spacing on these, the front would have been wider than the back if I didn't run with that 2-inch wheel spacer in the back. All right, and because I am running wheel spacers, I am sitting out, 1 inch on each side, so a total of 2 inches wider than stock. Now everybody has different opinions on wheel spacers. I run wheel spacers on pickup trucks for many years, and I have had zero issues with bearings, axles, anything like that. I haven't had any issues, and I've done it for years. Some people don't think it's a good idea, but I've done it and haven't had any issues. One benefit of running wheel spacers is it does make it slightly wider. It's going to give you more stability. Like I said, these came off of a RZR 1000. If you pick up a set of RZR wheels, they may not be the 12mm wheel stud size, and the back spacing might be different. So this is just a general video to show you what to do if your back spacing is completely different than what was stock, and if the wheel stud that was intended for the wheels that you pick up doesn't match what you want it to be. I wanted the wheel studs to be the same size as what was intended for those wheels. It's going to be stronger that way. It's going to be a lot easier to take the wheels on and off too if you don't have so much slop. So it was a bit of a headache. Like I said, I went through several sets of wheel spacers, about 6 or 7 in general, before I found ones that were strong enough to hold up to removing wheel studs and drilling them out and pressing new wheel studs in. Alright, and that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or something that I did not cover, feel free to comment, and I'll do my best to answer your questions that you have. Like I said, it's just a brief overview of what I had to do to get these to fit. It was a bit of a nightmare just going through all of those wheel spacers, but the end result was good, well worth it. It looks nice. I got bigger tires on there. It's a little bit wider. It looks a little chunkier. So I like it.